filthy Harley Sportster. My mom rode a Harley Sportster. She would have ridden a larger bike just to piss off the busted knuckle brutes wearing Confederate flag eyelids, but her featherweight boots could only kick halfway across the horseback of the larger bike, so she settled for what could be tamed, like a lot of the men in her life. That Sportster was just her size, but only in height. She was, in fact, a giant, a tornado out of a tin can, fist-fighting the steely nerves off a volcano, wrangled tightly into a half-cocked, 4-foot, 10-inch loaded pistol with fire for hair, glitter bomb of mischief twinkling in her eyes unless you pissed her off. Then you got flamethrower surgeon wearing propane tanks in a matchstick factory. Run. Don't look back. She wasn't mean by nature. She could love to the bottom of Mariana's Trench, swung around the far side of the moon like the 13th Apollo for her loved ones. She sometimes got in her own way to prove her worth, though. After tearing the skin off my own demons in endless post-war sessions, I now recognize that was her survival tactic, a means to be validated, to make amends, to be wanted. I get it. She mostly understood conditional love, transactions that gave and got without sentiment or sorrow. She'd been wrenched over and screwed down 6 ways to someday, but someday never came. Only dirt-nailed night crawlers with PBR politics spat into overfilled ashtrays. So everything and everyone was scrutinized. As strong as she was, when her guard was unguarded, a girl made of glass appeared beneath her tough elephant skin. When I was 8, she screamed south down the fast lane of the 405 on a dying bike that threw her over the median into oncoming traffic after taking half her shifting foot and a pound of flesh. 3 northbound cagers ground her into an oil slick, taking more and breaking 13 ribs before the procession screeched to a gawking halt. She rebuilt that thing with her own hands and told it she'd drag them both to hell if it ever tried that again. It obeyed. That Sportster was rude, drooping wire harnesses with fray-ended copper needles, a sizzling wake-up call to naked-leg straddlers, and grease stains from angry roadside breakdowns to smeared makeup after an all-nighter. Street-walking junkie in a showroom rumbling in. The chrome was piss-poor and rusty, eaten up bloodied fire ant on the belly of a drunken battleship run aground. Its dented paint job was nothing more than a black primer Death Star dread hurling through a meteor shower, a suggestion that Mom might have thought, maybe I'll make it beautiful, but decided half done and beat up was better. Women were property in her world. The mouth breathers thought they were only good for fucking and cooking and cleaning a man's hog. Mom's unkempt rat rod ride with bored out and unbaffled drag pipes was an act of defiance, an angry fisted middle finger, and they hated her. At 15, I was cornered by an angry ape wearing colors. He was cool with me until he found out who my mom was and spat as he seethed her name. His old lady was packing up their bike for a weekend getaway, which he interrupted by snatching a giant dildo out of her hand and wielding it maniacally in my face. Searing spittle, venom, and vitriol showered me through rotted fangs like a giggle-wiggle yard sprinkler hooked to a porta-john, while the history of my mother's wrongdoings were recited like a chemist's grocery list to a formula for a broken male ego. The absurdity of a burly, bearded man waving a 2-foot rubber cock in my face overpowered the fear. I wondered, since it was black, was it anatomically correct? His rage was a testament to her, though, that a person his stature and rank within a club could be so rattled by my little mom. It spoke volumes. She wore that report like a battle-scarred badge of honor, making me recount every syllable while she smirked into her natty light at the full moon. It feels like 100 years since she gave up her ghost. Unwillingly, though, it pains me to recall. I don't have her around to bounce my madness or poetry off anymore, but she taught me to put some elbow grease into yanking my universe up by its bootstraps and shake the jangling change from the loneliest hours of night, how to earn the kindness and compassion of people you don't deserve and be relentless in a merciless world. She told me whether I believe in heaven or hell, I'll go where I think I belong. That if I got it right, I'd reincarnate and not have to come back to this ticking time bomb for another spin. Neither one of us did, though, so I look forward to riding with her again, hopefully on nicer bikes.
Mm-hmm.